All right, you guys, it has been quite some time since we've looked through the comment section of a spoiler video. And by quite some time, I mean about 2 weeks. But yes, chapter 1135 postgame, here we go. We're gonna read the top comment, see what we were theorizing about coming off of the latest chapter of One Piece, and just having some fun. So with that being said, let's get into it. With Tama defeating Hold'em and Colin dodging a Gear 3rd attack, the next generation of One Piece is well represented. And I completely agree. Let me try to think. Are there any other kids in One Piece that have shown a lot of potential? I don't think so. There's a lot of youngsters, like the Supernova, for example, but not a lot of kids like Tama and Colin. And Colin, you could even argue that Colin is an adult, because Colin is probably like damn near 20 years old. There's a good chance that Colin, age-wise, is older than Luffy. But yeah, I agree. I love seeing these kids glow up. I love seeing them get stronger. I will admit, Tama defeating Hold'em is really crazy, considering how strong Hold'em should be. But yeah, you know, Tama's been training with Shinobu, so I guess that's been doing something. So now, on to the next comment. It is from the same person. They say the Holy Knight girl has her face covered in bandages and used them to attack the giant in the castle. I think she has the mummy fruit, another mythological creature among the celestial dragons. Yes. Hey, I have been a big fan of the monster theory ever since we saw the Gorse here on Egghead. Well, not here on Egghead. That sounds so weird, right? Previously on Egghead. It's been quite some time now. But yes, the minute we saw all the Gorse there, I said, guys, that's it. We're gonna get a vampire, we're gonna get a werewolf, we're gonna get a mummy. I think Oda is going to tackle all of the OG monsters. That has always been my bread and butter, so I'm glad people are finally seeing the vision now. As far as a devil fruit goes, I don't think it's a devil fruit. I think there will be some disparity between celestial dragons and devil fruits. I don't think that celestial dragons will taint themselves with the devil fruit. I actually believe that they will hold themselves to a higher standard and will actually have a different power system in general, whether it's granted to them by Ibu, whether it's magic or just something bizarre. I think it will be a genuine mummy transformation. Outside of mummy, I've seen people throw around the bandage fruit or like a bandage-esque power or maybe like a fabric power, and that's not bad either. But you know, of course, like I said, I have been on the monster train for a long time now. Notice the bandage girl complaining to the giant about not speaking at eye level, whilst Ange apologized to the Straw Hats for not speaking at eye level. Oh, this is because of my Ange theory. Yeah. I don't trust that dirty girl, man. So Ange, right? What can I say? I mean, she's a good role player. You know, some of the best people out there are good at making you believe that they're on your side. But yeah, I mean, the Ange thing is just funny at this point. I might actually put out a separate video on Ange again, just talking about how she could just be a dirty spy on Elbaf. So next, we got, I think the Mother Carmel and King Herold connection are valid. Maybe he was trying to align himself with the world government, whether it was to be a celestial dragon or to be a kingdom allied with the WG, and the Gorse probably want the fruit that has been passed down through the royal family of the giants, and King Herold was about to give it to them. Loki killed him, or the Holy Knights killed him, and Moses saw it and was able to get away with the fruit and gave it to Loki, and he took the blame for killing the king. Also, the sword in Ja Rule's head reminds me of Law's power. So, the sword on Ja Rule's head, is the sword actually stabbing through his head, or is it simply a gag and somebody slapped him with the sword and then it started bending towards his helmet shape? That's kind of what I think happened. I don't think the sword's like actually going through him, because that would kill a regular person, right? Unless that sword attack was by Law, like you said here, that would kill like 100% of people, right? Like, forget being a giant. That doesn't matter if somebody stabbed you through the head. We've seen firsthand, actually, a giant get stabbed through the head, and that's by Roger. It was filler, but of course, Oda did draw it in a novel version. But back in Logtown, one of the first feats we heard about Roger is that he walked up to a giant, stabbed him in the head, and killed him. So, Ja Rule surviving this, I think there's something at play here. I think it's going to be a gag 100%. We're probably going to come to the next chapter, and Ja Rule's like, yeah, by the way, I could just, like, take it off. You know, you want the sword? It's going to be something super goofy. As far as Mosa and Loki goes, I pretty much agree with most of this. I think this will kind of be the case, right? Except for the whole Mosa seeing Loki. When it comes to Mosa and Loki, they haven't actually met yet. So maybe they're just like two birds of the same plot, and then it's due to this plot line here of, you know, the WG, King Herold, and all that, where they just happen to become friends over Den Mushi. Kind of like a prison pen pal. So now, on to the next one. They say the difference between Gerd and Road is consent. And you know what? That is true. You know, if Ro just simply asked humans to just join his playhouse, I wonder if people would. I feel like they would, right? Like, hey, we'll let you live on Elbaf, just live in my playhouse for like a month. Maybe that's how their immigration process works. I think that'd be pretty solid, right? Like, hey, spend a month in fake Elbaf, and if you behave yourself, then after a while, you can go to real Elbaf. Yeah. No, this is smart. I feel like there is a world where Road could benefit Elbaf as a whole. And as far as Gerd goes, all I gotta say is that we gotta see your bedroom, right? I mean, not for any shenanigans, but I just want to see if there's like people in the closet or, you know, just somebody hiding out in her dresser. I don't know. 044, that's why you're the GOAT. On God, he's always thinking about everybody. It's been a while. If I recall correctly, this is because I said I'll release the spoiler video even though the chapter's probably going to come out like any minute now. And that did happen. I think the minute I posted the spoiler video, the chapter dropped, which it was crazy because, you know, I wasn't ready for it, but also like I made the video because I was like, yeah, people probably just throw this on for background noise. You could just go and see the chapter yourself, but we might as well just talk about it here too. Tama defeating Hold'em is her first step in becoming a Kunoichi and joining the Straw Hat crew. I can see her as a Buggy and Shanks as they were on Roger's crew. Ooh, yeah. No, I like this a lot. I have been a big fan of the thought that we would get kids on the Straw Hat crew, and that's kind of why I wanted Bonnie to join us. I really wanted Bonnie to join us because she would fill that, you know, cabin boy, cabin girl role that Shanks and Buggy fulfilled on Gold Roger's crew, right? You got Roger on one end over here doing his thing, but at the same time, he's mentoring Shanks and Buggy, and then by the end of it, we got Shanks knowing the Kamusari current day. So I was like, okay, we need somebody to do this with Luffy, right? Like at some point, I wish we had a kid who later grows up and says, oh, here's a gum pistol, or, you know, something like that. And that's really why I wanted Bonnie, because Bonnie has the Nika-like future power. So to me, Bonnie just made the most sense. Tama, I think, is another good one. I think Tama could definitely learn from Nami, for example. I don't know if she'd be able to take anything from Luffy. You know, I guess Luffy could teach her hockey. Like, Luffy doesn't have like an easily replicatable moveset. But yeah, he could teach her hockey or something, right? I mean, Kamusara is technically like a hockey-esque attack anyways. But yeah, like it kind of sucks that it seems like Bonnie's not staying on the crew, right? She says she's going with Lilith to get a resident permit. We don't know if Bonnie's also getting one, but the fact that she's going with Lilith kind of makes it seem like it. But I don't know. Weird one. This one says, I like Tekking's idea that Herold's ambition to trade with the outside world led to him with the WG and drew that pentagram in his throne room so that they could have an easy way in. Oh, that's a good idea. Man, Tekken's just coming out of nowhere, dude. Also, I like the idea that it was all King Herold's fault that Elbaf is becoming a warriorless country. What do you think if Shaki and Rayleigh got an official child? Biologically, that is. Ooh, okay, so this is like multi-layered. I like this. So first up, Tekken's idea of King Herold being the one who drew the pentagram, dastardly. I love it so much. And it would either show that King Herold is gullible or he had bad intentions, right? Somebody earlier actually mentioned Mother Carmel, and that's kind of how I view Herold right now, but I just don't know if it was intentional or not, right? Mother Carmel was intentionally bad. King Herold could just be, you know, a guy that really wanted the best for Elbaf, but he's not really realizing all the bad things he's doing or the harm he's bringing to Elbaf by, you know, introducing the world government, for example. There's a lot of ways we could spin it, but him drawing the pentagram, I like that a lot. I really do, because it explains how the Holy Knights were able to get here, and it would just add another layer to the whole thing. Does this have to be the case, though? No. Because Saturn, for example, Saturn was off the coast of Egghead, and then he teleported to to the middle of the island. So there is just a chance that the Holy Knights are off the coast of Elbaf as well. You know, it doesn't have to be the case that King Herold drew it, but I do like that idea a lot. So now onto the second part, the fact that King Herold is making Elbaf become a warriorless country. This is good and bad. I don't know how I feel about it, right? I'm kind of like Usopp, where it's like, yes, like, you know, people strive for peace, right? One day we all just want to hang out, not have to fight and kill people. Like, that is the ideal. So Elbaf wanting to become warriorless, I think, is a good thing, but maybe just not in this current climate, right? We got Emu destroying the world. You have pirates still running rampant. I mean, just thinking about Elbaf as a whole, they're like a week away from Whole Cake Island, you know, a week away from Wano. And those places were both ruled by Yonko, who wanted to take over the world. So it's like, yeah, become warriorless, sure, but just not right now, you know, like maybe like wait another 100 years to do this. But I do like the idea that Elbaf is learning, though. I think that is a great idea from King Herold, right? Because before Elbaf, I was always making jokes that the giants are illiterate, because that is kind of the idea that Saul gave us, right? Back during Ohara, Saul was like, yeah, like, I'm not like those barbarians over on Elbaf. I'm not like those savage warriors. And it's like, okay, like maybe those guys don't read books. You know, it sounds like they're not scholars like Saul. There might not be a smart person on the island. And I'm like, yeah, like this is good, right? It's good that King Herold is trying to educate the giants now, so that people won't come in with my crazy biases like, these guys are idiots. So that's kind of how I feel about this. You know, it's good and bad. Great ideas, just maybe bad timing. And of course, like I said, we don't know about King Herold yet, right? Is he a fool? Is he just too optimistic? Or was he actually playing for the enemy team? So as far as Rayleigh and Shaggy having an official kid, okay, I can't really comment on the women of One Piece having kids at certain ages, because the world of One Piece is just crazy in general. But if they did have a kid, I think it'd be really cool. I'm surprised they don't actually, right? Yeah, they don't have a kid yet. Maybe they do. Maybe this is going to be something that Oda brings up later and we just accept it. Like, oh, Rayleigh and Shaggy had a kid, but they had to hide the kid off, or they shipped him off somewhere because, you know, they would want to kill the Dark King's son. Kind of like how they wanted to kill Ace for having that Roger connection. Maybe this is the same thing for Rayleigh, where Rayleigh does indeed have a kid, but he's like, like Sabaodi's not safe. They're gonna kill him. Let's just send him somewhere else, right? I think that'd be pretty sick. I think that could definitely get, you know, dropped out of nowhere, and I think people would generally accept it and be happy about it. Do I think that's happening now, though? No. But we can dream, right? We can dream. So on to the next one. They say, for those who are going to make theories about Colin's father, remember that the woman at the bar gave Colin a basket of food to take to his father and mother. So whoever he is, he's someone who resides in Elbaf. I personally think it must be a member of the Roger Pirates or the Rocks Pirates, since he is a former pirate, with the most likely being Scopper Gabon and Shiki the Golden Lion. Yep, the two most popular options. You guys know me, I'm on Team Scopper for this one. I just can't imagine Shiki settling down. I think that's my main problem, right? Like, Shiki in film Strong World was a menace. You know, he didn't seem like the type of guy that would say, hey, let me just have a kid on Elbaf and hang out with all the boys. You know, Shanks is gonna visit every Sunday, I guess. Let's just have some fun, right? That doesn't sound like a Shiki thing. As much as I would love to see Shiki in the series, I don't think it's him. When it comes to a more peaceful life, I do think that fits Scopper more. And the reason why, you know, despite us not knowing anything really about Scopper's personality, the reason why I am led to believe that is because of Rayleigh. Right? Rayleigh settled down. Rayleigh's having fun. He has a girl. I think it makes sense if Scopper, another former member of the Roger Pirates, did the same thing and followed suit. So that is why I am on Team Scopper. And yes, you are correct. He should be on this island as well. So I think we will meet him. I'm trying to guess. Like, we have the party going on. So there is a really high chance that this person shows up at the party, right? Because Colin's at the party. Yeah, Colin's at the party. Well, he could just visit his wife, who's still at the academy, because Ripley did not go to the feast. So there is a chance they just go to the academy. So Luffy might not meet this guy right away. Yeah. I think we'll meet this person in, if I had to guess, 2 chapters. 2 chapters? Is that too short? I was gonna say 3, but I reduced it to 2. Because Elbaf is moving really quick, dude. You know, Elbaf is like boom, 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 boom. So yeah, I think 2 chapters is pretty fair, especially with the Holy Knights being here, right? I feel like there's even a chance that this guy is the first person that runs into the Holy Knights. Because we saw like a silhouetted character off the coast saying, hey, You know, come on then. Did he say that for the Straw Hats? Did he say that for the Holy Knights? We don't know. So there is a chance he's playing defense here, and I think that'd be pretty damn awesome. Down below though, I typically don't read responses, but I saw this one, it looked kind of interesting. He looks like neither of them, so the only proper option is the silhouette. Also, hasn't it been stated that they are much younger than Ripley by her own words? So it can't be someone in their 70s, given that she is likely in her late 30s at the worst. So this goes back to Giant's age, right? I talked about Colin earlier and how Colin, even though he's a kid, he's probably like 25-ish years old in human years. So we don't know how old Ripley is. If I had to guess, she's around, I'd say Ripley's at least 100 years old, right? Because she looks like a full-grown adult. She looks like she might have been a part of the old... Well, she said she was a part of the last generation of warriors. So what would that make her? Like, older than Hardin, around the same age as Hardin? That's a hard one, huh? And then plus, like, Ripley will continue aging while her husband will just go off and die eventually, since he is a human. So I think when it comes to the age debate, you can't really bring that up without knowing Ripley's age at least. But as far as Colin's dad being the silhouette, that is where I'm at. I do think it is going to be the silhouetted character, which funny enough, people think that the silhouetted character is either Scopper Gaban or Shiki the Golden Lion. So we kind of like loop around to the same two answers, which I guess you could add a third option, right? Scopper, Shiki, brand new character. I think the reason why people typically don't go for a brand new character is because Scopper is like a character that we will meet by the end of story, right? We just don't know when. And I think that's why people keep on throwing him out there. Shiki is kind of like he's in this weird middle ground, right? Like, he's a canon character who has a lot of non-canon elements, and Oda's commented how he has to make that canon if he ever brings Shiki back. So Oda's tossed the idea of bringing Shiki into the story, but will he do it, right? So it's like, ooh, Scopper, Shiki, they're not bad options per se. So yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one. This one says, inorganic things, Psy. Trees, no, they're organic. Actual canon, works on books. See, here's the thing, right? Books are technically organic because they're made out of paper, but it's the world of One Piece, dude. It's the world of One Piece, right? So when it comes to Biblow's effect of not working on inorganic materials, we don't question it. You know, we know what they mean, right? Non-living. Things that don't have blood can get enlarged. If they have blood, then that's a no-no. Also, TCB translated it to say that Biblo can even make inorganic things larger, but that is a mistranslation. Going with other translations and going with Viz even, it states the exact opposite. If it is inorganic, it can enlarge, but if it is organic, then it cannot. Ja Rule has the same gag as Shiki, with the steering wheel stuck in his head. Oda's really trying to throw us off with the silhouette Elbaf Coastman and the man marked by flames. They better be good reveals. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they will be, right? With how long we've been guessing about those two characters specifically, I feel like the reveal has to be good. Yeah, I mean, people like the Shiki idea. People like Scopper. And then even if it's a brand new character, I feel like people will enjoy it, right? I feel like One Piece fans are easy. And I'm included in that as well. You know, I'm easily entertained. So that's why I think it's not that bad. So this one says, thanks for the video. And yes, this is my background noise for when I get ready in the morning. Perfect. See, this is what I'm here for. Personally, I have a lot of YouTubers that I throw on for background noise. I don't even watch some of their videos. I don't even hear what they say half the time. I just throw on a video and I call it that. And that right there is always what I have striven to be. Striven? Strove to be. There we go. Striven. That sounds weird. The way the owl is drawn makes me believe it's either a human or something like Chopper or Morgan's. I'm trying to think. The owl being human-esque. That's not bad. I mean, we also have a chair right next to the owl. So the owl could very well have a human form and just, pop out some legs and an ass and just sit down. I think it's only weird to think about this right now because the owl hasn't said anything, right? Like, I'm thinking of the latest chapter. Chopper and the gang were all in the library. We saw books get bigger. And the only thing the owl has done is stare at them and say, hoot, hoot. So if it's a person that can talk, I'd be like, okay, well, can you use words, man? Can you say something to us? But as far as the owl goes, yeah, I think it will have a lot of knowledge. I think it will be not just another mindless creature. And hopefully Chopper talks to him. Chopper is staying in the library. I hope he says, hey, Owl, what's your story, dude? Like, Chopper wants to read books about medicine. Elbaf medicine. Well, if you need to find a book, ask the damn librarian, right? So hopefully we get a scene where Chopper talks to him. I think that's something I'm really looking forward to, because this owl has been around for centuries. We don't know how many centuries, but I mean, for all we know, he could be from the Void Century, you know? He could be from the Void 800 years. Well, Void 100 years, but that was 800 years ago. You guys get what I mean. I feel like now that this is all happening, Oda is gonna divert expectations and move us somewhere else. I wouldn't be surprised if the next chapter we saw Cross Guild or Kobe or anyone else except for the Straw Hats. Yeah, not bad. Let me think. Chapter 1135, officially released January 3rd. So we started the year with the Straw Hats. Could we leave right away? We could. I think we very well could. I mean, given how Oda did Egghead Island, I think anything's on the board, right? Because during the beginning of Egghead, we had some chapters where halfway in, we cut, and then we go to Law versus Blackbeard. Or we cut, and then we go over to Hachinosu, the Reverie. Or we go to Elbaf with Kid versus Shanks, right? So I don't think that's bad, and I would love to see Cross Guild getting poneglyphs. I mean, I know people wouldn't generally care because it's like, yeah, they're gonna have to get it anyways, but I would love to see, you know, Buggy, Crocodile, and Mihawk go to Whole Cake, go to Wano, Zoe, and just quickly play catch up to the Straw Hats. As far as Kobe goes, I think this could be a really interesting one as well, because Kobe does want to make it to the One Piece, and we don't know how they're gonna do it, all right? When it comes to Cross Guild, it's like, yeah, dude, those guys have Mihawk, right? Whether you love Mihawk or you hate Mihawk, they got Mihawk. They can run the gauntlet if need be. But for Sword, I mean, hey, you guys know me. I love Marines, but Sword, you know, they got Smoker. Well, Smoker's not even technically Sword. He just hangs out with them, right? I mean, they got X-Drake. Kobe's great, but he's still growing. You know, Kobe's still on the process of becoming a really strong character. I don't think he's there yet. He'll get there, but not yet. So, like, I don't know how Sword's gonna fare. Like, imagine Sword and Wano, right? Sword comes there for a poneglyph because they want to catch up to the One Piece and, you know, stop the end of the world. How would they get that poneglyph? Would they just make friendly relations? Would Momonosuke welcome them? And then Whole Cake, right? How would they do on a Whole Cake? I mean, technically, if Whole Cake doesn't have Big Mom, they could win, but they gotta fight Katakuri. And I'm not a Katakuri glazer, but he's still a strong character, right? You put Katakuri in a 1v1 ring against all of Sword, right? Katakuri versus Kobe, Katakuri versus X-Drake, Helmeppo, Groose, Kujaku. Like, I think Katakuri wins all those matchups. So yeah, I think Kobe would be the most interesting between him and Cross Guild. I would also love to see Gecko Moria. I know you said anyone else except the Straw Hats. I think Gecko Moria would be another fun one because Gege Akutani, the author of JJK, he brought Gecko Moria up at Jump Festa, saying how, or not Jump Festa, he said it during his last volume about how he sees himself as Gecko Moria sometimes. So maybe because of that comment, Oda's like, hey, he likes Gecko Moria? Well, let's throw him in the next chapter. Why not, right? I could definitely see Oda doing that, especially since, you know, a bunch of Jump magazine authors are all friends. So maybe he throws one out for JJK. So now going down, though, they say, it's very interesting. It makes a lot of sense that they planted several Adam trees around the world. So maybe the wood that Frankie bought isn't even from Elbaf, but from a completely different country. Reminds me of the world tree from Hunter x Hunter. Yep. So as far as this goes, maybe, since the Adam tree here in Elbaf is the oldest wood, maybe we get a new Thousand Sunny. No, that would be too crazy, right? Yeah, we wouldn't scrap our ship. Maybe we treat it like the ship of Theseus, where we replace the wood of the Thousand Sunny. So it's technically the same ship, but it's technically not. I don't know, like, what would we do with this? I do like that One Piece movie, and I think we also did it for Skypiea as well, where they added wings to the ship. right? They added wings to the Going Merry, and I think they also added wings to the Thousand Sunny during, I'm trying to think, was it Stampede? I think it was Stampede when Frankie added wings to the Thousand Sunny. So yeah, maybe we do that. And then we start riding with the Sunstone on rainbows, and then all of a sudden, we're just a flying ship. I don't think that'd be a bad idea. But I am expecting some sort of Thousand Sunny upgrade here on this island. Whether it's cloud technology, sunstone technology, or just new wood in general, I think Frankie is going to make use of this somehow, some way. Just a heads up, Sai. In Nordic language, anything with a J is typically pronounced like you would the letter Y in English. Yeah, so it's not Ja Rule. By the way, I say Ja Rule as a joke. You know, people love Ja Rule. I like Ja Rule a long time ago. Like I said, I haven't listened to Ja Rule in years, but yeah, that's why I like calling him Ja Rule. But yes, it is Ja Rule, not Ja Rule. All right, this one says, Sanchi going about face on the Wimpy Kid was peak comedy, and Colin might be my favorite in-art character that Luffy makes a promise to thus far. I hope his dad has an epic entrance, like when the bandage woman presses Ripley or Colin is about to attack them and saves them. Here's the thing. Here's another reason why I like Scopper and or Shiki. It's because those guys, they were at God's Valley. Those guys, voice crack, those guys were at God's Valley, right? They fought the Holy Knights of the past. So imagine Scopper or Shiki shows up, Colin's dad, and he's like, yep, you're not winning this time. Or like, oh, I've had enough of these gimmicks. Like, this guy should have experience fighting the Holy Knight. So I would love just these one-liners, or maybe, you know, since Garling was at God's Valley, maybe they look at Stabs and they're like, oh, Garling's son, I presume? Bro, I think that'd be heat. I think that would be absolute fire. So now, last comment, you know, gonna cut this a little bit short. They say, I can't believe we still don't know why we can't linger on Elbaf for too long. Get classic Oda. If you want to find out, come back in 500 chapters. I mean, hell, we still don't know what those shadowy figures off of Thriller Bark was, right? What were those monsters in the Florian Triangle? I don't know. Which one will we find out first? Why we can't linger in Elbaf, or what the hell was in Thriller Bark? Your guess is as good as mine. But yes, with that being said though, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really freaking appreciate it. Couldn't make these videos without y'all. Love all of these comments, man. Thank you for all the kind comments as well. And I'm excited for 1136. We do not have a chapter this week, if I recall correctly, but next week we will be back in the full swing of things. So with that being said, thank you all for being here. Please let me know what you guys thought about everything we talked about today, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Signing out.